I'm back in the yard, early rec run, you heard? So boom, I'm in Brownsville. This is back in the days. It's gotta be like 82, 83, you heard? I'm riding around the big circle in my projects, Howard projects. I'm riding around the big circle with my bike. It's my first bike that I ever got. I don't think this one was the black and white Savoy joint. I think that was later on, so I don't remember which bike it was. But I had my first bike. So I'm riding the bike. So I see this dude from my projects. You heard, from 60 Glenmore. One of my OGs, the bro V. You heard? At the time, I'm a mad little kid and he like a teenager. So he like, yo son, let me get a ride on that bike. So I'm like this, nah, I can't get nobody no rides. My mom said I can't get nobody no rides. He like, man, I don't want to hear that, man. Let me get a ride, man. I'm gonna bring your shit right back. I'm like, nah. So me and him start tussling over the bike. One thing led to another. I think I kicked son. Now, this is my bro, you know what I mean? We was up north together and all that later on in life. I'm just telling a story about how it happened back in the days. But, now I mean, me and son start tussling for the bike. Now I mean, I kicked son, ran. I don't remember if he got the bike or I took my bike and ran upstairs. I can't remember. But I know I went upstairs and my step pops was like, yo, what happened? You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, dudes try to take my bike. So he like, what? So he goes out there. So he like, who tried to take your bike? I'm like, yo, dudes from 60 Glenmore, you feel what I'm saying? So he like, all right, I'm gonna go over there. Now my step pops, he a Crown Heights nigga. He not from the Ville, but he's the closest thing my mom's ever had to a husband. Son been living with my mom's forever, you heard? But he's not from Brownsville. He's from Crown Heights on Nostrand and President, you heard? So boom, he like, yo, I'm about to go out there and see what happened. So he goes out there, he don't know. Like, niggas is young, he a little bit older than these niggas. Niggas is young, but them niggas is deep and them niggas is wild, you feel me? So he go out there like, yo, who tried to take my stepson bike, whatever. Now I mean, I'm looking at my window, I'm out my window looking at all of this shit. You feel what I'm saying? Cause my window could see 60. You feel me? So I'm out my window looking at all of this shit. He go over there, he's talking with niggas. I just see the niggas swearing up. Now these niggas, my step pops, that nigga shoot joints, you heard? That nigga's a brolic nigga. At the time, he was a brolic nigga, and he a wild nigga, and he shoot joints. So them niggas start squaring up. I remember them niggas start squaring up. So I remember I was a little kid, my nigga. The type of blows niggas was throwing, them shits was looking inhumane, you heard? Niggas was throwing orangutan blows. Bong, bong. Them niggas was getting it on crazy. Then niggas jumped, son. Now I mean, son ain't think. It was a bunch of them niggas. He went over there, dolo, niggas jumped, son. Bing, bang, bang, bing, 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 plucked them. You heard? So son come back upstairs, he lumped up. He like, yo, it's on, nigga. I'm about to call my brothers from the Heights. We going down there. You feel what I'm saying? Tonight. So, now I'm in the crib. I'm like, damn, it's going down. I mean, with my step pops and niggas from my projects. Like I said, I'm a little ass kid. You feel me? I may have been like 7 or 8 years old. I don't know. So boom. So later on that night, my step pops, the nigga, like the whole Nostrand and President is his family. You heard? So that nigga comes back through with all his brothers, nephews. Like niggas come through. Son got like 10 brothers. You heard? Niggas came through like 6 deep. You heard? Niggas is like this. Where these niggas at, man? Word of mother. Where these niggas at? So his oldest brother was a nigga named Dwight. Son was living and located in Philly for a long time, but he was originally from Brooklyn on Nostrand and President. You feel what I'm saying? So he comes through. Know what I mean? And I used to hear mad stories about son. Yo, that's Wayne, older brother. That nigga get busy. Son be going wild. He be doing this. He be going in and out the pen like he was a wild nigga. You feel what I'm saying? So niggas come through. Niggas got on the old school black gloves. You heard? The old school uncle gloves. You heard? Niggas is like this. Where these niggas at? Niggas got 38s and all type of shit. So them niggas go out there that night and throw shots at niggas. Nobody got hit, nobody got shot or no shit like that. After that, it wasn't really no ongoing thing. So like I said, my step pops, his brother, Dwight, I consider that my uncle, you heard? So now we in Franklin together. And son is basically the head of the body. He's basically like the leader of the guards, you feel what I'm saying? So, and that's how I knew son from the streets. I already knew son from the streets from that incident from back in the days and all of that. And I mean, he always kept in contact with my moms and shit like that. You feel me? And his family, we was always over there back and forth. Shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? When son finds out I'm in Franklin, of course, like I told you in the other stories, he was making sure I was good. You feel me? But when I got hit at my parole board, I was so stressed the fuck out. I'm like, yo, and this is a story also on how music can influence people in a good way. So, you know what I mean? I got hit at my board. I was so stressed the fuck out. I had a little bit of hope that I was going home. You know what I mean? But niggas was telling me you ain't going home, so don't get excited. You feel me? But I was a heavy super fan of the Wu. I was listening to Wu-Tang crazy. You heard? Like everything they put out, Iron Man, anything that had been out at that time, I had. You understand what I'm saying? So, I used to be listening to these dudes' music and I'd be like, yo, when they be spitting math and Supreme Alphabet, I used to be like, what the fuck is these dudes talking about? Like, that shit used to be getting me tight. Now, I mean, then dudes that I knew that did have knowledge of self, niggas used to be explaining, nah, what he mean by that is such and such and such. And I used to be like, damn, like, now I mean, I gotta learn this shit. He's like, yo, son, you from Brownsville? You not guard body? The whole fucking Brownsville guard body. So I'm like, damn, like, what the fuck was I doing in the streets? You feel me? So now I'm starting to feel left out. Because everybody around me, G.O.D., got knowledge of self. You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm like, damn, I'm an 85 and shit, you heard? So boom, like I said, niggas telling me, yo, nigga, your uncle is the head of the guards, my nigga. You need to make that nigga give you some lessons and give you knowledge of self. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Now, I was one of those dudes, and there's a lot of dudes like this, that dudes be wanting knowledge of self, but they don't want to seem like they're a follower or they want to be down. You feel me? So dudes be wanting the knowledge, but sometimes the aura that the body be giving off is like, yo, y'all 85ers, know what I mean? Y'all ain't worthy of this. And dudes be picking up on that aura and then they don't want to fuck with it. You heard? So I was one of those dudes. Like, I'm like, yo, I don't want to look like a follower. I don't want to look like I'm trying to join shit and come up under shit for protection, because I don't need none of that. You feel me? Like I said, Brooklyn is the gang. Now, I mean, I don't need no other organizations. You feel me? So when I got hit at my board, I'm like, yo, real talk, my nigga. I said, I'm not letting this another 2, possible 3 years go to waste with me just, now I mean, running around the jail stupid. Like, I gotta get my head on straight. You feel me? Like, I was hearing dudes build. I used to hear dudes in the jail building and dropping jewels, and I was impressed by that shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I was impressed by that high science shit. When I was hearing dudes talking about them high sciences, I was like, damn, I want to be able to spit that high science like that too one day. You feel me? So I became intrigued. Like I said, it was the music, and I mean the Nas's and the Prodigies and all these dudes who had knowledge of self that was rapping. It was a heavy influence, a good influence. And that's what's powerful about hip hop. If it's going in the right direction, it can influence people in the right direction. You heard? So, but when it's totally off track and it ain't talking about nothing but, I mean, drugs and killing and murder and motherfucking and fornication all day, then that's the vibes that's gonna be out here. You feel what I'm saying? But back in the days, it was so many rappers that was G.O.D. The whole streets became G.O.D., bro. Because it was cool to have knowledge of self. It was cool to be deep, you heard? Somewhere we lost that. Somehow we lost that in New York. I don't know what happened, but let's hope we could bring some of that shit back. But, yeah, so I see this dude, I see my uncle, I see the nigga Kasim. I'm like this, yo, I said, yo, I need some lessons, bro. I want to get knowledge of self. He like, right now, man, we just had a meeting and we got to stop giving out lessons to people right now because, you know, dudes is going to, like, at the time the lessons was illegal. Now they're not, but at the time the lessons was illegal. If you get caught with them, you might go to the box or you get a tier 3 ticket. So dudes started getting caught with them on a regular basis, and some dudes was getting caught and they was telling where they got the lessons, who was giving them out, who was printing them. You feel what I'm saying? So niggas was like, yo, we got to stop giving out lessons to dudes so much because any and everybody is not supposed to have these lessons. You feel me? So he like, yo, yeah, I said, yo, I don't want to hear that, bro. I said, come on, stop playing with me. I'm your nephew. I said, my bro, I need those lessons. You understand what I'm saying? I know you're not going to deny me knowledge of self. G.O.D. You heard? I need those lessons, bro. He started laughing. He like, all right, man, let me write some. He said, if I give you these lessons, though, he said, he said, you getting them old school. He said, if I give you these lessons, you getting them old school. 120 degrees in 120 days, even though it's 122 degrees to 120 in 4 months. That's how you really supposed to learn it. You heard? He like a degree a day. So I said, all right, bet. He was like, yo, don't get involved in it if you ain't really serious. I'm like, bro, I'm serious as colon cancer. You heard? I ain't playing no games. Get me those lessons, bro. Watch what I do. You heard? So I ain't telling nobody I'm in a dorm. I ain't telling nobody that I'm about to get the lessons and all of that because, I want to style off. I'm like, yo, I'm going to get these lessons. I'm going to get knowledge of self. I'm just going to pop up on these dudes, bombing them. You heard? At the time, I didn't know how deep the lessons was. I didn't know how much time and energy it took to learn these lessons. I'm just like, I just can't wait to get the knowledge. You heard? When I seen son on the walkway, at this time, I was still in the annex and he was in the main. You feel me? but he had to go to the school building. If I'm not mistaken, I forgot what it was. Either he was going to the school building in the annex, or he taught in the annex in the school building, or something like that, that he came to the annex. So I see son on the walkway. Son passes me the 1 to 10. Bang! You heard? I get the 1 to 10. I'm ganked. You heard? I go back to the dorm. Aha! He like, yo, don't get caught with that shit. You get caught with that, you might go to the box. So I'm like, all right. So I fold that shit up. I stash that shit. Now, I mean, I ain't tell nobody nothing. That night, when everybody went to sleep and the lights went off in the dorm, turned my little lamp on. I used to sleep on Broadway at this time. I had a trash cube sleeping on Broadway. You heard? I bust them lessons out. I'm looking for the police, making sure the police ain't around. You heard? I bust them lessons out, and I start reading the first lesson. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, God of the universe. You heard? I had never heard words like this. I had never heard the black man or black people being referred to as gods and owners and makers and creators. This was all new to me. This was shock therapy to me. The words on the pages was like jumping up. You heard? They was jumping up, lighting up in my face. You heard them like this. What is this shit? I start studying that degree. What I did was, I said, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write each degree. When you write something down, it stays stuck in your memory. So what I used to do is, each degree I had a book of loose leaf book, and I would write each degree down 7 times, sometimes even more, sometimes 10 times. You heard, or 20 times, depending on the length of the degree. But a minimum of 7 times, I will write each degree. Who is the original man? I will write it over, the question and the answer, until it was stuck in my head. Then I take it out, I rip it up, and I throw it away so that I can't get caught with it. You heard? So this is how I was memorizing the degrees. So that was the first degree I put in my head. Now, my enlightener, my uncle, and his team, he used to mess with a god named Akbar. Not Akbar from the legendary Tomahawks and all of that, but another Akbar with the long dreads and the gold tooth in his mouth. Super guard. You heard? OG super guard. These was the type of dudes, and my other bro Shah, that I'm gonna tell the story of the third Shah. These was the dudes I was spinning around the yard with, and they was like, yo, you're not gonna be some regular parrot dude that just could quote degrees and really don't understand the degrees. We gonna give you the sciences for real. Like, I was a science project, you heard? Some people call me Master Fard, you heard? I was a science project being trained by the scientists, the great scientists. They used to call my enlightener the big head scientist. Son had the big brolic head, pause. You heard? They used to call him the big head scientist because he break down everything, and his expertise was history. You feel what I'm saying? He'll tell you every dynasty of Egypt, who ruled what, when, from what time to what time, and break down everything esoteric and metaphysical about Egypt you could think about. You heard? He was a monster. And Akbar, forget about it. He was a monster too. Shah, a monster. I built with a bunch of guards. I'm just letting y'all know my history. I wasn't some dudes that just was learning lessons. I was being trained. I was being trained by some of the best, you heard? So boom. When I learned that first degree, like I said, I was taught, you're gonna study each degree, and you're gonna break them down to the very last compound. You're gonna find all meaning of everything. You heard? So I started breaking that degree down. The Asiatic black man, the science behind that, the landmass that we know as Africa and the landmass that we know as Asia is really one big landmass. You heard? Just because a little bit of water separates something doesn't mean that that's not the people, that that's not your land, that that's not also your geography, that that's not also your people. You heard? First of all, we can't call ourselves Africans named after some conqueror who conquered a land. You heard? The Asiatic black man. That term is putting an awareness in you that your genetics spread a lot further than what you think. Your genes and your people are responsible for a lot more than what you think. A lot more races and cultures than what you think. You heard? So the black man is not really African, he's Asiatic. Because that entire landmass is Asia. You heard? And we're not naming ourselves after somebody that conquered our land. You heard? So the Asiatic black man rings a little bit better off than that, and that's what it really is. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, god of the universe. And let me tell you something. I remember when I learned my lesson, I used to run down on my enlightener and be bombing them all day, word for word, verbatim on every lesson. And he told me, he said, one day it's gonna come a day and time where you ain't gonna be able to quote all them lessons like that. You're gonna be too rusty because you're gonna be living your regular life. And then 120 is gonna become you. And you're gonna become 120, and you're gonna become those lessons. And it ain't gonna be nothing about just quoting them. It's gonna be about living them and internalizing them. And that's where I'm at right now. So I'm very rusty with my lessons, and I'm even using this to brush back up on my joints and make sure I'm sharp with it. You heard? Because I've been straying away from my dean for some time now. The maker, the owner, the science behind that, the original man is the Black people are the original people on this planet, the first people to walk this planet. This is not talk, this is not racism, this is absolute fact. This is biology. You heard? This is what the scientists say. We were the first people on this planet Earth, and every other race derived from the original race and that continent. You understand? Everywhere else, people migrated to. We know these things already. So the maker, the owner, this is why we the owner, because we was here first. This is us. You heard? The owner, the cream of the planet Earth. The cream of the planet Earth, the center, the filling, the best part. You know what the real science behind that is, bro? Listen, this is a scientific fact. This world cannot survive without black people. If black people cease to exist on this planet, all human life will cease to exist. You know why? Because all human life in the first stages of development and birth, melanin is the first thing that is created. All beings possess melanin. White people have melanin, Asian people, everybody has melanin. But black people, we are the source of the melanin. And really, it's melatonin. Melanin is a byproduct of melatonin. Melatonin is a key hormone that your brain produces through certain hours of the night. You heard now, life could not survive without melanin because the first stage of birth is the spinal column being developed, and a pocket or a bubble of melanin is created to protect the spinal column as it forms and creates the brain, which is the life source of all life. You understand what I'm saying? So without that melanin, life could not exist. You feel me? Life could not exist.
Casa one on the beat.